Hey, I want to take some time today to make a video here where I offer a very humble apology to another YouTuber. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong or when I said something that wasn't true. I got some information from a couple of different sources, one of which was a very reliable source that has given me very good information on some of the larger gun channels before, that Mr. Guns and Gear was a bit of a valor thief. Now, they didn't say he didn't serve in the military at all or anything. They very much alluded to the fact that maybe it isn't exactly the way he said it was. But, you know, after I said that, and when I did say it, I did make it very clear that I can't prove this. I don't even know if I believe this. This is just the information. And the only reason I was even curious is because Mr. Guns and Gear had made some claims about an act of war by one of the, Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, well, that's not anywhere near close to an act of war. I think someone who served in two branches of the service would know that. So that made me curious. And some other things that have been said in the past that I'm like, no, that's not true, and you should know that if you're in the Army. But like I said, that's all just, hearsay and circumstance, etc. He immediately responded. After that claim was made, and like I said, I made sure I said I couldn't prove it, he responded very quickly. He made a video saying he'd been falsely accused. He produced DD-214s. If you're not familiar with what DD-214s are, they look like this right here. And no, this is not my DD-214. This is for one Puffin Stuff, HR, so HR Puffin Stuff, who apparently served in the U.S. Army. I kind of think this might be a fraud. This might be a forgery because I think everyone knows HR Puffin Stuff was actually a conscientious objector and a draft dodger, which is why he went on to host TV's children's programs. And I do find it kind of suspicious that the signing officer on this is Mayor McCheese. So like I said, I think this might be a forgery, but it's easy to forge anything these days. But like I said, I put the claim out there saying, hey, this is what I've heard. He immediately responded and dispelled it. He wouldn't have even had to produce his DD-214s for me. He would have just had to say, no, it's not true. I would have taken his word for it. Because for one, I really don't even see that as much of a big deal. I always get upset when these people do videos where they chase down some 20-year-old kid with, emotional issues and confront him as a valor thief because he's wearing a uniform and trying to get some attention because, he's not right up here. I always find those a little annoying myself. But like I said, I made a false claim. I am sorry for that. I did make sure to say when I was doing it that I couldn't prove it, so I have no problem apologizing for it. I humbly apologize. But having said that, I want to move on to the point here, a second point that I'm making today. Apparently, that whole high road argument when it comes to responding to me is bullshit. Because as soon as a claim was made that hurt your money, you responded. As soon as patrons started leaving your channel, as soon as people stopped using your links, there was a video up the next day. Just right off the bat. I don't even think I had to wait 24 hours. So we were pretty quick when the money was on the line. So that whole high road argument about defending the things you say on Instagram that aren't true, the lies you tell, the fear-mongering you do, the profiteering, the promoting products that you know are inferior just for the cash, you won't defend those things not because you're taking the high road, but because actually defending those things would hurt your money. Because people would be less respectful of you. Now, I thought you could have just easily said, hey, the stuff I posted is not true. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I believed what Fox News said, or I believed what, Glenn Beck said. And apparently someone was there and even gave video and photographic proof that they were there and what they were saying was happening wasn't happening and hadn't happened. That would be what a man would have done. They would have apologized and said, sorry, I spread some false information. And as far as the fear-mongering on Instagram, etc., they would have said, yeah, maybe that was bad. I probably won't do that anymore. Or maybe I'll give context when I do that, instead of just trying to maintain this element of fear in the gun community that helps me sell products. But you didn't do any of that. You did the whole, I'm taking the high road. Well, obviously you don't give a shit about the high road because you'll respond very quickly if it's something that hurts your money. So now what is it? I've given you another chance here. You can come talk to me, or I'll come talk to you, or you could find a third party channel that can moderate the two of us. We'll talk about your fear-mongering, the false information you put out that you refuse to own up to, where you were saying they were burning things down and there were armed Antifa at every entrance and they'd taken over a whole neighborhood and blah, 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 and all that stuff that wasn't true. And no, a few Antifa people at the very end after everybody else left causing trouble doesn't justify the lies you told before. Because that no more justifies that than saying that, the person who shot up the school is a representation of what we do as a gun community. No, that's an outlier. That's one single person. Those were some Antifa people. They got nothing to do with what the real message was at the beginning. So I kind of odd that you would try to use that to take a very statist position that the government should step in and stop those protests. Back when it was actually, that's what it was. It was a peaceful protest at the time you were calling for them to rain fire down on them. That seems like a very statist position to me, and I thought you didn't like statists. But, I guess still you don't want to defend that because that's hypocrisy. You don't want to defend your hypocrisy. You don't want to come out and say, I think the First Amendment is only for people I agree with. But like I said, I apologize for spreading false information, but I made it very clear that most people don't believe me because I can't prove this, but some that did, and there's still some that do, because I still got emails today saying he's full of shit, blah, 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 and I'm like, hey, I don't care. He gave his word that he's done everything he said he did, and I'll take him on his word. But I think this illustrates that it isn't about high road when it comes to you and defending the things you do. It's about money, money, money. So how about you prove that it's not about money, money, money? And I'm doing that intentionally to annoy people. How about you prove it's not just about the money, money, money? And sometimes it's about honor and integrity. And step up and defend your hypocrisy, defend the places where you were wrong, or apologize for them. Either one, that would be a whole lot more manly than I'm taking the high road when we know you ain't about the high road.